I know there wasn't too many signed up, but
hopefully we'll start to see the right side of the screen fill up. Oops.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to those joining us. We'll give you a few minutes to make sure that you're in the room and can hear us okay, and then I'll get started with some housekeeping announcements. I'm here to welcome you on behalf of WACAC. My name is Kate Virgo. In my day job, I work at Beloit College, but right now I'm here on behalf of WACAC as your moderator for today. This is the Trinity College Dublin session. I'll be going over just a couple housekeeping reminders, and then I'll turn it over to our representative from Trinity College. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, and whoops, clicked a little too fast. Okay, so virtual college exploration. How do I ask questions? There's a Q&A button at the bottom of the screen for you to type your questions to the presenters. Your camera and microphone are off. Our presenter can't hear you, you're muted. So again, type your questions and we will answer as many of those as possible out loud. If any of those can't be answered in this session, our representative will follow up with you afterward and we'll get your contact information just by you signing in here. This is one of many presentations offered by WACAC, so we encourage you to check out the schedule at wacac.com for some of the other offerings. We are recording this session and it will be available to you afterwards. So if there's anything that you want to see again, anything you want to share with a friend or a colleague, it will be available at wacac.com. So we will be together until about 4:45 at the latest, and then we will have to cut things off so that the next WACAC sessions can get started. So I'm going to turn off my camera, mute myself, stop sharing my screen, and I will turn it over to our presenter. Thank you for being here.
Well, let me add my hello while I get my screen up for you. Here we go. Make sure the sound's going. Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm so excited to be presenting for you today to help you learn a little bit more about Trinity College Dublin. My name is Amanda Lundberg. I'm one of the North American representatives for Trinity based here in the US. I actually live in Texas, so a little further south than Wisconsin, a lot hotter probably, but I'm really happy to be here with you today. Just to show you what we're going to be looking at. Today we'll be looking at why you should choose Ireland to study, and specifically why you should choose Dublin and Trinity. A few facts and figures. I'll show you some of the course options, some of our clubs and societies and what things you can get involved with on campus, how to apply, fees and funding, and a really quick look at our alumni. So that's the first part of that. But before we get started, as we've already said, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A and throughout the chat, throughout the presentation. I am here on my own, so I'll get to those questions at the end. I won't be able to answer them as we go along, but like we said, any that I don't get to, I'll be able to follow up with you if we don't get to answer them live. But to start us off, I'd like to show you just a little video that gives you a great overview of Trinity.
On the western edge of Europe lies a modern capital city, and in the beating heart of this city is Ireland's highest-ranking university, Trinity College Dublin. Trinity is a modern, living, breathing campus, pulsing with people, energy and ideas. It's made an indelible mark on Ireland and the world for more than 4 centuries, but its 21st century incarnation has its focus firmly fixed on the future. Today, Trinity's campus is Ireland's largest research centre, a place where leading experts from the humanities, the sciences, and medicine are creating research that matters and then turning that research into impact. Thousands of new students pass through Trinity's gates for the very first time every September. They join a community of 3,000 staff, 17,000 students, and alumni more than 130,000 strong. A community that is inclusive and welcoming and active in every corner of the globe. A community that will bring out the best in each student and help those students to make their way in life. Our students are all different, but they share one characteristic. They have never been content to accept life as they find it. They agitate. They innovate. They build new worlds. Perhaps this is why Trinity has produced 1/5 of all Irish spin-outs, more entrepreneurs than any other university in Europe, and more than half of all the Nobel laureates from the Republic of Ireland. Perhaps this is why Trinity collaborates so well with the Irish and multinational companies that make Dublin their home. Perhaps this is why Trinity has changed with every generation, and why Trinity never sits still. Perhaps this is why one of the world's great cities is home to one of the world's great universities. Trinity College Dublin.
Sorry about that. So I first want to look at why you should study in Ireland. Here's a few reasons here. You can see these are just the top 10. I've got a lot more for you, but I can tell you that Ireland is an inviting and familiar place. You'll find comfort in the friendliness of the people, in the English language being spoken. Ireland is a place that's home to a highly educated population, and it's a gateway to Europe and home to many of the world's leading financial, business, biomedical, and IT companies. And next, I want to look at why Dublin as a city. So Dublin is an ideal place. It's a great blend of a cosmopolitan European capital, but it has a small city feel to it. Very walkable, lots of easy, great public transportation. It's safe. It's one of the best student cities in the world. So you can see here, and everything is at your doorstep in Dublin. A doorway to the rest of Ireland, as well as a departure point for the rest of Europe. It's a fantastic city. And then finally, I'd like to just visit why you should choose Trinity specifically. The city of Dublin was practically built around Trinity. We're the exact physical center of the city and the heart of the city. Our students receive a world-class education in a research-centered, collaborative environment, and we have the opportunity to work with global leaders in each student's field. Trinity is also the only Irish member of the prestigious League of 22 European Research Universities, which we're very proud of. Here you'll see our iconic Campanile. It's got it behind me as well. This is a bell tower in our library square, which you can see here. There's a tradition and a superstition with the Campanile that I like to tell students, that any student that passes under the bell, beneath the bell, will fail their exams. And that's a superstition that goes hundreds of years back. Some students will never take a step underneath the bell tower until they finish their time at Trinity. Here you can see on this slide, we have a lot to be proud of at Trinity. We were founded in 1592, so that's nearly 200 years older than the US itself, which is just astounding to me. We are Ireland's leading university, as one of the ancient universities of Europe as well. And we are first in Europe for producing entrepreneurs for the 5th year in a row. We have a fantastic innovation studio where students can work on those entrepreneurial ideas. We are also ranked as one of the top 15 safest countries. Here you'll see our gorgeous old library, one of one of the main tourist attractions in Dublin as well. We have Ireland's largest deposit library on our campus. And this means that publishers in Ireland, they must deposit a book of all their publications in our library. So there's over 200,000 copies of publications. It's home to the Book of Kells, which is a 9th century Latin manuscript of the Gospels that draws a steady stream of tourists throughout the year onto campus. But the best part about that is that students get to bypass the queues into the library itself to go and have a look at everything. Here you'll see all of our, just a snapshot, I should say, of all of our programs. These are organized into 24 schools, which are in turn organized into 3 faculties. So this is just a little snapshot here. There are hundreds of combinations of these subject areas. You can choose to take one subject on its own as a single subject, or you can also choose to do either a major minor or a double major, which we call joint honors with 2 subjects together. So you've got some options there. Some of our most popular courses for US students, I'd say would be the PPES course, which is philosophy, political science, economics, and social studies, sociology, excuse me, as well as our BEST course, which stands for Business, Economics, and Social Studies. These are 2 of our interdisciplinary courses, which a lot of US students quite like because they can come in, take their time in the first 2 years to kind of get to grips with all 4 subjects, and then they can specialize in one of those subjects towards the end. Some of our other popular courses, I'd say, are biological and biomedical sciences, psychology, English studies, and of course law. But outside of your course itself, you'll also have the opportunity to sample other disciplines through electives, and those are courses that you can choose 2 of those per year. This is another fantastic program I love talking about. It's our dual BA program with Columbia University in New York. Dual BA is a fantastic, unique program. It's still a 4-year program, as the rest of our degrees are. But the way this one works is you start your first 2 years with us at Trinity. All students start with us the first 2 years. And then the final 2 years, everyone goes to New York to finish their degree at Columbia. And then when you're finished with your degree, you actually get a bachelor's degree from each school. So you'll have a bachelor's degree from Trinity in Ireland and a bachelor's degree from Columbia in New York. And you can see these are some of the subject areas we currently have open. So we started off with quite a few arts and humanities subjects, and then we moved into a couple of STEM subjects last year. And then this year, for the next year's entry, 2021, we're going to be adding philosophy and religion, which we're really excited about. This program does have its own application. It's not through Trinity or Columbia. It does have a separate application. And the entry requirements are a little more in line with Columbia's entry requirements rather than ours. But you can apply to this program as well as other programs at Trinity, which is fantastic. So if you're not sure what you want to do, but you want to apply to multiple programs, you can do that. Unfortunately, you can't apply to the dual BA program as well as Columbia, but you still have the opportunity to apply at Trinity as well. So this is something we're very excited about. Moving on, we have a lot of support available for our international students. The internationalization is a huge priority for us at Trinity. We're very proud of our international population. And we understand that traveling abroad, let alone moving abroad, is daunting. So we know that you might be worried about not knowing anyone, maybe having left home for the first time. So we have a lot of support in place. And the best thing to know, I'd say, is that you're not alone. 27% of our students are international from over 120 countries around the world. So you'll definitely bump into some other Americans as well as people from other places, which is fantastic. And I should say too, about 40% of our staff are international, so that you're still not alone even among the staff. So here just shows you a little bit of a few of our supports that are in place. The first one I'd like to tell you about is our global room. This is our main hub for international students. It's where you can come and meet other students from around the world. Also, home students can come and hang out here. It's a big room with massive TVs, and they're kind of showing news sources from all over the world, which is awesome. But one of the coolest things is that we do put on quite a few events. You can see 300 events here. So events like Thanksgiving dinner, or a Super Bowl party. So it does kind of help with that homesickness, you know, when it inevitably comes. But it's also great because you will also be able to participate in other international holidays and events that we put on for other cultures. So this is one way you can get involved. Students can also join the International Society, which is great too. This society puts on events throughout the year, but they also do lots of trips around Ireland, as well as the UK and on the continent itself. So there's lots of ways to meet new people when you're on campus. At Trinity, we do have a lot of sports and societies you can get involved with, nearly 200 altogether. These range from academic interests. So for example, we have the Phil and the HIST, which are two of Europe's oldest societies on our campus, but they also go to things like sports. So we offer soccer, rowing, American football, Irish hurling, basically any sport you can think of. We are likely to have a club for you, which is a great way to meet people and get involved. And we also have special interest clubs, of course, too, such as theater, performing arts, languages, things like that. So many ways to get involved. And it's a great way to get to know your home away from home. Moving on, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about how to apply. That's the biggest question, right? How do I do this? Where do I start? So here you can see our typical entry requirements. This is what we would usually look for each year. So starting off with your GPA on an unweighted scale, as well as some specific subject areas. And then typically we'd also look for either an SAT of 1290 or an ACT of 2829. Obviously this year has been very different and has thrown everyone for a loop. And I'm really pleased to say that we will be flexible with these exams, knowing that not everyone's had the opportunity to take them over the last year due to COVID. So just to make a note of that, we'll have more information about that on our website very soon. It's just doing final touches on that. But yeah, so how to apply. So our applications are program specific, and so you won't be applying to the college in general, you will be applying to a specific subject, and they are made directly on our website on that course subject page. And you can see here the list of things that we're looking for as part of your application. You can make up to 3 applications, but I would make a note too that the first one is usually seen as your first preference. So say you want to apply to biological sciences, engineering, and mathematics, whichever one you would prefer to get into, I'd say make that your first application, and then you can still apply for the other 2 subject areas. That's a little about that. You can see here the application portal opens 1st of October each year, and it is open until the 30th of June, which means we do have a rolling deadline until then. Some of our subjects do have earlier deadlines, usually around the 1st of February for medicine, dentistry, drama, and music, but everything else is a rolling deadline. But the great thing about this rolling deadline is we actually are quite quick at getting back to students with their applications. We usually take around 3 to 4 weeks for a decision turnaround. And so that's just some basics, but there's a lot more information on our website, of course, and I'd be happy to share all of that with you. I always like to share some of these top tips with students who are just starting out, starting to look at colleges and maybe researching some news colleges that they may not have thought of before. But the first one would definitely be to contact your regional representative. It's my pleasure and my whole job to talk to you, to give you information, to help you through the process. So I'll be putting my contact details on the final slide, but I am the representative for Wisconsin, so I'm your go-to. The next thing would be to register your interest on our site, and that just helps us stay in touch with you, helps us send you relevant information about the application process and other information that's going on, about things that are going on campus, things like that. And I'll be showing you how to do that at the end as well. know the admissions deadlines. We've just gone over those, but we do have a very handy guide on our website called Discover Trinity that's specifically for US students, which is fantastic, and that does have all of the information there for you too. Research your academic course, make sure you know what you want to study. As our applications are course subject specific, this is a great one to know. So if you want to do one of the interdisciplinary courses, then you just need to know that course title itself. But if you're looking for something specific like English, we do encourage you to research that course before you make your application. And then the final sort of things would be to check out our YouTube page. We've been adding loads of content since COVID started, lots of information, because we know this is the best way to get it to you. And one of the best videos I've seen is our virtual tour. We've got our current students, the student ambassadors, who walk around campus and give you a tour and talk about all the different areas on campus and a little bit about their experience. But you can also chat with a current student through our Unibuddy program on our website. So if you go on to the course subject page, you'll be able to, a little pop-up will come and say, hey, you want to chat with so-and-so? And you can do that then and there, which is great. And then the last one, have an open and inquisitive mind. I think you already have that because you're here to listen to why would you want to go abroad. So, but that's one thing that we find really important in our prospective students. So it's something we always want to encourage you to do as well. Moving on to the next slide here. Okay, so you'll probably notice I haven't listed our fee amounts on this slide. That's because our fees do vary depending on the subject. For example, STEM lab-based courses will be slightly higher than humanities-based classroom-based subjects and so forth. But you can find a full list of fees on our website. We do have them broken down per subject. It's just a lot for one PowerPoint slide. So I just like to kind of say that, but I can tell you on average, our courses are roughly $26,000 per year for tuition, and cost of living is roughly $16,000 per year. And then that of course is dependent on the housing that you choose and your lifestyle preferences and things like that. But I just like to give those amounts out there so you can kind of get an idea. A lot of people think it's expensive to go abroad, but if you think about out-of-state colleges or other private schools, actually this is very affordable and it's very doable in a lot of cases. And then we have some other ways for you to make it even more affordable. We do have scholarships available. We have our undergraduate and postgraduate Global Excellence Scholarship, and this is specifically for our international students. It is a partial scholarship of 5,000 euros that gets deducted from your tuition. And that is a scholarship that you would apply for in your first year. And then in your subsequent years, you will have other opportunities for other scholarships, but that's one that can kind of get you going. But one of those I've listed here is the Trinity Foundation Scholarship. This is a wonderful program it is a prestigious scholarship that's exam-based that you take in your second year. But the great thing is it has a duration of benefits of 5 years. So lots of different ways that you can, different benefits that you'll be able to use throughout your time, one of them being your fees being reduced. You also do get free accommodation and free meals, which is awesome, saves a lot of money. So that's another one that you can opt to take. And I should say those exams are based in your specific subject area. So it won't be like a wide general exam, it will be in your course, in your subject area. And then financial aid, of course. We do participate in the direct loan scheme, which is wonderful for our US students. You can apply through FAFSA and get the same kind of funding that you would if you were to apply to a school here. And then other grants as well. If you were to apply for grants and other scholarships here in the US, we can apply those to your tuition at Trinity as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can make this experience come true. We love to brag about our alumni, and I just wanted to show you a few of the famous faces and famous names from all over the world that we have that have studied at Trinity. They do come from, we have notable alumni in every subject area that you can think of. These are just a few. a few that I like to point out. Mary Robinson was the former president of Ireland. She was also the first female president, which we love. Obviously, Oscar Wilde, very famous poet and playwright. Jack Gleason, for any Game of Thrones fans, he came to Trinity, did his theater degree with us, and he was a Trinity scholar, so we like to plug that as well. And then, I don't know if anyone watches Hulu, but a new show that's been out in the last couple of months is called Normal People. That is by, the novel was by Sally Rooney, and she's one of our alumni, and part of that book and TV series is based at Trinity. So it's a great way to see the campus too, if you're interested in that. You can see here though where our alumni come from. This is updated this year. This is everybody that we have around the world that have studied with us. And you can see our US Alumni Network is very strong. We have a lot of students that have come to Trinity from the US, and it's a great way to support students when they're done. And we have these networks where alumni get together. They put on events, they put on parties, they put on lots of different things. They also are a great way to find out more about Trinity, and they are available online to talk to as well if you wanted to know a little more about their experience, as well as any other information about studying in Ireland, that sort of thing. They're available too as a resource, and we're very proud of how far it spans. All right, I'd just like to show you another quick video that gives you a glimpse of the inspiration that has happened at Trinity and that is continuing to happen. So hold tight.
Inspiration has lived here since 1592, and more than 400 years later, it's still going strong. Inspiration has helped burgeoning writers put pen to paper and given world leaders a head start. It has set the stage for budding playwrights and creative characters that will never die. For countless actors who started here, inspiration has played a part. Work done in Trinity helped split the atom, battled cancer, and guided man's first giant leap. From here, we've inspired people around the world. But even with this proud history, we are firmly focused on the future. Today, we are making new discoveries and inspiring the next generation of history makers.
All right, well, that concludes my presentation. I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. But before I do, I'd love just to point out, this is a QR code to register your interest with us. It's the best way for us to keep you updated. We send out a big email blast to say when the application portal is open, that sort of thing. So if you wanted to do that, you can either scan it with your phone in real time, or of course you can also screenshot to do later as well. But I just wanted to highlight that just because it's a great way for us to keep in touch with you. But yeah, I'd love to answer some questions now, and I'll just stop sharing. Actually, you know what? I'll leave that up in case anyone wants to jot down my details. But let's go to the questions here. Okay, so someone's asked in the Q&A, are those the only majors allowed with that program? And I'm not sure exactly which program. I think you're probably referring to the dual BA program. But yes, those are the only majors that we have as part of the dual BA program currently. It will be expanding every year, of course. Every year we add a few more, but it's a fairly new program. I believe we're starting our 4th year this year. So each year it has added a few more and a few more. But for now, those are the majors that you can choose from. So I hope that answers your question. The next question is there a cybersecurity program at Trinity College? I saw that you had an IT security, but wondering if that was a major. So I would say the cybersecurity would be, it would be part of the IT security. It would be ingrained within it. So the way our degrees work with if you're doing a single subject, is a 4-year-long program. The first 2 years will give you that foundation for your subject area, and then the final 2 years is when you choose a bit of a speciality within that. So the banner of the program will be IT security, but it would be cybersecurity would also be encompassed within that. So I hope that helps answer that as well. But if there's any other questions, feel free to pop them in. I'd love to answer those for you. If not, no worries, no problem at all. But I've also left my email address on the screen, and I'd be happy to follow up afterwards as well, just to send you some more details about our programs at Trinity. But thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful, and yeah, pop those questions if you want. We do have some more time. If not, I will bid you adieu and say have a fantastic evening. All right, one more question here. What is your acceptance rate? As an international university, we don't typically publish acceptance rates like a lot of the colleges do here in the US. But I would say that we have a much higher acceptance rate than most students think. We get hundreds of US applicants rather than thousands. So I'd say our acceptance rate for US students specifically is quite high, but I don't have a specific figure for you, I'm afraid. Anything else? Any other questions anyone has? I'm sorry if I sped through that. First big fair of the year, so it's nice to get started with all of you in Wisconsin. But yeah, anything that might be confusing or that I might have gone too quickly through, yeah, feel free to ask.
All right, well, if there are no further questions, I'll jump on here and give our thanks again to Amanda for helping us all learn more about Trinity College Dublin. I also want to thank our participants for joining us. So when you close this window, you will have access to a quick 4-question survey to help WCAC and StriveScan with their offerings. Again, we encourage you to check out more sessions. And in addition to following up and being able to use Amanda as a resource, again, this session and all the others will be available at wcac.com. So thank you all again for joining us, and I'll be concluding our presentation today. Thank you
so much, everybody. Thank you for coming.